fighting for child support in the same I went through with Scrappy right now. You a bitch. I went with Scrappy.
I've never
because
called you
that's
a
what
bitch.
you are. You a bitch. That's what you are.
That is my
like you one
husband.
thing.
You're
I don't give
mad.
a about that, bitch. You're second best. He followed me to the Dominican Republic, and you know that hoe.
Erica,
he proposed to me first. He
did.
wanted to be with me. He wanted to marry me, and I left.
Let's see if he's with you now.
I left.
Why are you
You're
still arguing
second
about
best,
your
hoe.
baby daddy?
You're second best.
What do you want
When I
to do?
see you in the street, just go.
Square up?
Oh, bitch, square the fuck
Ain't
down,
gonna be
bitch.
none of that. No,
bitch.
no.
You know I don't like you, bitch.
Oh, I hear a bite?
Girl, what? Who I do?
No.
Let me out.
Whoa.
You ain't gonna do
I ain't paid by insurance
I was
yet.
slapping about you. Rasheed, I'm gonna be
The city of Atlanta was hot, as usual, during the summer. But inside the home that Lil Scrappy and Bambi had built together, there was something far more dangerous in the air than the heat: betrayal. This was the kind of betrayal that threatened everything they had worked for, everything they had fought to build. It was tearing apart the love and trust they had shared. Bambi sat in their living room, her heart racing. Her phone kept ringing nonstop on the coffee table. She had just ended a call with her lawyer, and the news she had received was crushing. It was a storm she had never expected. For weeks, things had felt off. Small details slipping through the cracks, mysterious withdrawals from their bank account, unexplained transfers. And now, the truth was impossible to ignore. The money was gone. What was worse, the person she least expected to betray her was the one behind it all. Her hands were shaking as she picked up the phone and stared at the message from her lawyer. The name on the message felt like a sharp pain in her chest: Erica Dixon. Erica was the woman from Scrappy's past, someone who had always been a part of their lives in one way or another. She was someone Bambi had always thought was a distant part of the family, someone she could trust. But now, everything had changed. The $3 million had vanished, funneled through a complicated network of accounts. The trail led straight to Erica. Bambi knew she had to tell Scrappy, but the thought of it made her stomach twist in knots. She didn't want to tear their world apart, but she had no choice. Scrappy had been working late, finishing up music projects that had kept him busy for days. Bambi sat in silence, trying to prepare herself for the conversation she didn't want to have. She didn't know how he would react, but she knew it wouldn't be good. When he finally walked through the door, looking tired, his eyes scanning the room for her, Bambi stood up. Her face was set, her hands trembling. "Scrappy," she said, her voice tight with emotion. "We need to talk." He dropped his bag by the door and frowned, looking at her with concern. "About what? You look like you've seen a ghost. What's going on?" Bambi didn't know where to begin. How could she tell the man she loved that someone close to both of them had stolen millions from them? The words felt like a punch to her chest. She swallowed hard before she finally spoke the truth, her voice shaking with a mix of anger and disbelief. "Erica," she said quietly, "she took the money. She stole it from us." Scrappy froze. His body stiffened, and his eyes widened in shock. "What?" he asked, barely able to process the words. Bambi's voice trembled as she held up her phone. "I have the proof. The wire transfers, the fake accounts, it's all right here. She did it, Scrappy. She took the $3 million. The room fell silent, and the weight of Bambi's words hung heavy in the air. Scrappy's face drained of color, his jaw tightening as he processed the shocking news. He couldn't believe it. Erica, the mother of his child, had always been a part of their lives, even if there were complications between her and Bambi. The idea that she could betray them in such a way was almost too much to handle. It felt like a punch to the stomach. Scrappy ran a hand through his hair and started pacing, trying to think through the situation. His mind raced as he struggled to wrap his head around what Bambi was saying. Are you sure? You know how things can get twisted. You're telling me Erica took your money? He asked, his voice tinged with doubt. Bambi's response was sharp and cold, her eyes hard as she looked at him. I wouldn't be telling you this if I wasn't sure, Scrappy. The money's gone. Erica is the one behind it. I don't know how else to explain it. She stole from me. Scrappy stopped pacing, his eyes darkening as a mix of emotions filled him. Anger, disbelief, and hurt all swirling together. The tension in the room became palpable as the truth began to settle in. Erica, the woman who had once been a part of his life, might have done something so unforgivable. He didn't know who to trust anymore. His ex-wife, the mother of his child, was now accused of a crime so serious that it shook him to his core. Damn it, Bambi, Scrappy muttered under his breath, his voice cracking with emotion. He ran his hands through his hair again, clearly struggling with the weight of the situation. How the hell did this happen? Bambi felt a pang of sadness at the pain in his voice. She had always trusted Erica. Despite the history between her and Scrappy, she had considered Erica part of their extended family. But now, with the truth out in the open, everything was different. There was no turning back. Scrappy turned towards the door, fists clenched at his sides. I need to think, he growled, his voice hardening as he fought to control the chaos inside him. I need space. Outside, the summer evening in Atlanta buzzed with the usual energy. Cars honking, the hum of city lights glowing brightly. But in the home where Bambi and Scrappy stood, everything felt heavy. Betrayal and anger filled the room, creating a thick tension that neither of them knew how to escape. Bambi had always been calm, composed. Her life had seemed perfect. A successful career, a loving husband, and a growing family. But all of that changed the day she uncovered the truth about Erica. The shocking discovery came on an ordinary Thursday morning when Bambi had just returned from a business trip. Her suitcase was still by the door as she caught up on emails. Then, an unexpected wire transfer caught her eye. The amount was large and didn't come from any of her usual business partners. Confused and uneasy, she decided to dig deeper into it. What she found would unravel everything. Bambi couldn't believe what she was seeing when she checked her bank account. More than $3 million had been taken out. It didn't make any sense. She had always trusted her financial advisor, but something about the transaction felt wrong. She knew she needed to figure out what happened. Determined, Bambi called her lawyer, who started a full investigation into her finances. After a few days, the truth hit like a ton of bricks. The money had been moved through several shell companies, and all of them were connected to Erica Dixon. Erica was a woman who had once been a part of their lives, but Bambi thought she was long gone from their world. Yet now, her shadow seemed to hang over everything, and Bambi couldn't believe what she was hearing. Betrayal hit her hard. It wasn't just about the stolen money. It was the violation of trust that stung even more. She had always seen Erica as someone from her past, someone who no longer had any hold on her life. But now, the past had come crashing back into her present, and it felt like a slap in the face. Bambi couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Her emotions were a whirlwind of anger, hurt, and disbelief. She had to talk to someone. Her hands were shaking as she dialed her husband Lil Scrappy's number. They had been married for nearly 5 years. But in that moment, she felt like the world was falling apart. It took a few rings before Scrappy answered. The sound of his voice only made the situation feel heavier. We need to talk. Bambi said, her voice tight with emotion.